Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I know that I'm normally not here this late, and so we'll see if anyone comes in, but nevertheless, it's urgent, guys. Come on in, come on in. It's urgent. Blackouts going on in Europe. Blackouts, Europe, are they coming to America? Sources telling me about some sort of timeline divergence. So we really want to take a look and see what's going on, guys. All right, guys, let me properly introduce myself. This is Tahirah, Mother of the Ages. I am your supernatural quantum healer, specialized in past life regression, quantum telepathic readings with energy medicine. Guys, if you want to book a session with me, links will be down below, but you could always email instructions #4, humanity@gmail.com, guys. Let's get into this message this evening, guys. This is very important. Hi, beautiful Gail. Hi, Cheryl. Yes, guys, I am still up. I'm still up in atoms because, guys, this message is going to be deep. I'm gonna try to get this thing done in under 30 minutes. I think a few weeks ago, one of the sisters here, Sister Lee, was telling us she was talking to Source about some blackouts, and Source was saying there's going to be 5 days of darkness, right? And that we should prepare with food and supplies and things of that nature. I know she definitely mentioned water, to have like a gallon of water per person for each day, right? So these are the things that Lee was telling us. And so when I saw that the blackouts had started in Europe, it just brought me back to what she was saying a few weeks ago. And then I started to feel deeper into what was going on. And Source was telling me that we need to go into the grid, right? Into the crystalline grid to add some sort of almost allowing us light workers to be like a backup generator. So I want to do that in this healing session for the collective today. The Source is also telling me about some sort of divergence, some sort of okay, I just heard hypnotic divergence, some sort of timeline divergence, guys. So we're going to talk about when the timelines split. And there's a fear bomb. Guys, I'm getting choked up. Okay, there is a fear bomb going off, and I've been feeling it for the past week. I've been feeling like when I walk down my stairs, like I'm gonna fall. And that's simply because we opened up, starting with Angela, opened up the primitive template, right? So the primitive mind, it basically holds basically those foundational things that are in the code of our creation, like the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. And we have been doing some work in that template. And I noticed that it's like I feel like I'm going to fall. And so there is a shift here. See, guys, they know that we have already submitted ourselves into the new earth timeline. They know that. But what they're trying to do now is they can get the ones that are not there yet. If they can get the ones that have not fully accepted the light and fully accepted the new earth ascension. And what they're trying to do, they're in that primitive template. And that primitive template is the same template. There's been many different generations of humanity, but what the creators of the bodies found out was good was to keep the fear and also the greed in the template. So even though humanity has gotten upgraded over time, one thing they kept the same is the primitive template. And this is the thing that here on Instructions for Humanity and also the Seven Sisters, we are helping to dismantle, because we're saying even the primitive template has been part of our entrapment here because it holds fear. And fear is not of God. Fear is not of Source. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So if you're fearful right now, just know it's on purpose. Just know that they have to get as many people as they can to buy into the fear, to buy into the timeline split that's happening, the timeline divergence. So they're trying to run interference because they know there's a split. We've already split this thing open with all the work that us beautiful light workers have been doing. But they got to get the people that are on the fence. So I wanted to say that, let you guys know that that is what's going on. Now, in 2012, do you guys remember 2012? Sorry. Remember 2012? How the energy shifted and everyone started being more conscious. Everyone started seeing 111, 222, and all of these same like numbers. And I remember I was talking to one of my sisters just a moment ago that really prompted me to come on here. I remember when I was in Mexico City, and I went to the museum and I saw literally like the Mayan clock that to me represented the end of the age or the end of Earth. So I do believe it's the Mayans that believe that it's either the Mayans or the Aztecs that believe that the Earth would end in 2012. Well, the Earth did end in 2012. And this is when Source brought up the timeline divergence. So what happened was there was an ending that happened. So the Mayans or the Aztecs, they were not wrong. But what happened was some people went to the timeline divergence. And what that means is they were put on a false timeline because they had not yet awoken to their own divinity. They were put on a false timeline, but as the walking dead. And so this is when the thing split. So on one side, the world ended and real souls were actually allowed to transition. On the other end, a lot of the same bots that we have right now, they went on the split. They got diverted to like, it's like a fish bone, you know? It's like a wishing bone, right? You pull one side and then I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like this bone is like a U shape. And when you pull it, you see who gets the bigger stick. That is what it is. And most people with the bone that was the bigger stick, that was the timeline divergence. Those people became the walking dead. Those people were one of the first classes of what we call these non-playable characters, right? They became the first class. So there is a timeline where people are the walking dead. And that's why things feel so weird. And that's why we can't get people on one accord, because there are people in our reality that are part of the timeline divergence. They are part of the living dead, the walking dead, and they can't die. They're just in the perpetual loop. And so what I believe Source is telling me right now is that this is about to happen again. So a few weeks back, me and Lee did a channeled message about an entity named Seven, who originally reached out to a lady that was playing on a Ouija board back in 2013, her and her husband. And Seven warned that the earth was going to end in, I think, on May 27th this year, 2025. And that she came to TikTok to see if she could get anyone that could help, because she didn't know what to do with this information other than to share it. So myself and Lee, we picked up the call, and when we tapped into the energy of, wow, thank you. I'm getting so many messages right now. When we tapped into the energy of Seven, Seven's energy asserted itself as a supreme energy. But what Seven also brought is the supreme shadow. So the Seven energy is the higher vibration. But what do we also have? The duality of that, which is the lower vibration, which some people might call, and I'm not calling it the devil, I'm going to call it Lucifer. Because as we know, Lucifer had sweet words. Lucifer could sing. Lucifer was enchanting. So I would call it Lucifer, even though in a lot of circles, especially the occult, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm explaining to you the energy, the power of the energy. It was carrying the dualistic. And this is when we found out it's a very thin line between good and evil, between love and hate. But it was through channeling this being seven that he opened us up to the deception in the Akashic records, the deception even before this time that we are living in. There has always been these timeline diversions. And I think that collective energies or big energies do come to try to warn humanity at these pivotal moments in time. And this is what we are seeing right now with these blackouts. And is saying that it is rolling blackouts. So this will not just be one time, this will be rolling. So if they get the power grids back up over in the UK, Spain, Portugal, and even some of France, it will happen again. It will be rolling. Half of the street may not have lights and other half will. Half of the country may not have lights and the other half will. You may have lights for 2 days and then it'll go off again. It will be spotty. It will be spotty because it's to get people to the timeline diversions, to divert them to the false timeline so they can harvest before this ending of the year. Because remember, this is the completion year. But what are you being completed? Are you being completed in the good works that you've done, or are you being completed in, in the bad works, right? Are you part of the timeline of the divergence? Because this is ending. And what it truly is, it's just the end of an energy. It's the end truly of one age moving into the next age. Now, we have been moving into this new age for quite some time, but now we're still moving into the new age, but now we are in the energy of, is it the year of the snake, guys? And also, too, it's in the energy of the year of the nine. So it really magnifies what's truly, truly going on. So I'm going to ground more into this and what Spirit was saying about the crystalline grid. I think we need to lay down some sort of backup generator, right? And this is just simply the light workers asserting ourselves as the light to support the grid, so that hopefully the blackouts won't come here. And if they do, they will be able to be powered up quickly. No one is coming, guys. If you're alive right now, you're it. If you're alive right now, the Christ consciousness returns through you. And if we all knew that, how powerful we are, then we can move mountains. And that's simply why I am here. So let me go ahead and ground a little bit more into the energies really quickly. Hmm. Hmm. There's a choice. Interesting. There's a choice, and it's not a choice between good and evil. Mhm. You know how they say you have to choose the lesser of two evils? Well, this is where we are. There's a choice. There's one choice that you know that is just bad. And then the other choice, you don't all the way trust it. It's deceptive. This is where we are. There's not really leaning one way, the other. I mean, one path clearly is bad. The other one is like, can I trust it? Right? We're asking ourselves, can we trust it? Right? Can we trust it? Can we trust this path? Right? Give me a second. Hmm. Do, re, mi, fa, la, si, do. Do, re, mi, fa, la, si, do. Something going on. I don't know why. That's like a vocal warm up, right? So Spirit is saying this is just a warm up. These blackouts are a warm up for what is to come. Okay. 1 second. Truth is, guys, truth is, these blackouts have to do with other beings as well. I think we're fighting something, someone or something that's much bigger than us. I think the blackouts have to do with that. And I think that's why Source is bringing my attention to the grid. Because this is the true light, right? It's not the light that shines. It's where does the light emanate from, right? Which is crystal technology, is where the light and emanates from, because the light comes from the vibration. From the vibration bursts the sound. From the sound brings forth the light. So this is truly what Source is saying. That is what's going on. They're trying to shut some grids down because there's some beings entering the biosphere. And I see at least one that appears to be either here or very, very near. And it could be more than one. It could be one collective being that has, okay, so it's like it's one being, but many consciousnesses inside of one. I think this is why they're doing it. They're testing out something. They're trying to see. It's not the lights that you see up here. It's the grids that they're shutting down. They're shutting down the grids to try to divert whatever being that is coming, to divert them away. This is truly what I see. Okay? 1 second. Give me a second. Hmm. Give me a second. I'm going to ground into this energy and why we need to shut the grid down. Why do we need to shut the grid down? Why do we need to shut down the grid? Why? Because of the frequencies. We got to shut it down because of the frequencies. Page 123 in the Cosmic Bible, reading from the middle of the page. I think this is going to give us a message. So this is the Cosmic Bible. You can pick it up on Amazon, The Great Expansion. Cosmic Bible for the Ages. Mother Eve wants us to understand it is an individual and collective balancing of the sacral chakra. Just as the chosen one's heart space is being cleansed both within themselves and within the collective heart space, the collective sacral are clear. Once the collective sacrals are clear and balanced, the chosen ones will experience their collective kundalini energy rise. It will be a utopic feeling on earth, but even more amazing to feel and view from the perspective of cosmic galactic beings. They will join in the celebration too and feel the heightened level of sensuality, which is the loving nature of the cosmos. See, I just opened up to a random page, confirmation. So it is about higher dimensional beings, galactic beings, but also too, it's because they want to stop the collective kundalini from rising. And this actually came up a few weeks ago in one of our world readings, that we saw something capping the collective kundalini energy from rising. It was like something dark on top of it. Because once that kundalini rises, right, we're going to clear our sacral chakra on a collective level, which is actually going to birth a new frequency. And it's going to bring us that much closer to where we are going. to our ascension and to the new earth. We must all have this collective kundalini to really go to the next vibration that the earth is pushing us to, which is the new earth, which is the new Jerusalem, is what I'm hearing. So to answer you guys' questions about these blackouts, it's not the lights above ground, it's the lights, the sound vibration underground in the grids, right? That they want to affect, and it's not going on the under the ground where the lights are. No, this is going on our grid. This is going on in the grid of the matrix, guys. There is a war, and the war is about codes and numbers. This is the war. This is a holy war. Whose code will last? Whoever, they want to stop the collective kundalini, because if they keep the energy suppressed, then the kundalini rises from the base of your spine, and then it raises up to the pineal gland, and then boom, it opens up the crown, and you are birthed into a higher sphere of consciousness. They don't want that, because remember, they are here for the timeline divergence. They want more of the Walking Dead so they can feast. These embodied archons, they are fully embodied in their essence, in their dark essence. They need food. They need loosh. They have to do the timeline divergence. They have to prime everyone with the fear template. That's what's going on. And the blackouts will make people panic, will make people go and buy goods, and and all of the trade wars. It's all part of this. Trust no one, no leader, no man, and no woman. Let thy eye be single. So it is complete, lacking nothing. It's time to trust in source and trust in your own knowings, your own whispers. And this is the whole other flip side, is that our cosmic royal families and our star families are trying to get us to trust in that pit in the bottom of your stomach, because this is how they communicate. So in one way, yes, it's the timeline divergence, right? That the archons, they have to divert the timeline, because they already know we're on the new earth ascended one. They got to get everyone that's undecided ushered in, and they have to split the timeline, divert them over here so they can keep them in the time loop, in the infinity loop, in the number 8, so they can keep soul cycling them over and over and over, and keep feeding off of their energy, off of their loosh. That's on one end, but on a whole nother end, this is actually going to be good, because we as the chosen elect will have no choice but to go inside. And this could be a time for purification. There will be a period where you will need to fast. I feel as if some of us are even storing up energy right now, just because we know subconsciously that we are going to have to fast soon. But what this is going to do, see, this is going to break humanity. But the thing is, there's only 2 ways to go. It's either you're diverted to the timeline where you become fed off of, and you become fuel and food for other beings, or you choose the sovereign I am path, and you get spiritually fed the manna. You get spiritually fed the sun. You live off of the vibrations, off of the essence. This is where we are. And so the blackouts are to separate the wheat from the chaff, to see what side do you belong on. This is truly what Source is saying in this moment of reflection. There has to be a massive Kundalini awakening. If we truly are to even get to the new earth, we must first allow the Kundalini to rise, because this is how we know that we receive all of the codes to expand. And if we can expand that way, and our pineal gland now starts to open up, because it is your mind is what creates the world. See, we all collectively must get on the same thought vibration. When we collectively get on the same thought vibration, we can ride that thought wave to the new earth, because that's how we're going to get there. Thank you, Source. The thought wave, creator thought wave is how we will get there. But the thing about it is, the 5-night stampede are here. The 5-night stampede, I talk about it in this book. It is the shadow aspect of Source. Of the 5 members of Source that I channeled here, the 5-night stampede is the shadow. It is set up to reset the earth. There is a reset happening. It is set up to cause destruction, to cause tornadoes, to cause tornadoes, to cause volcanoes to erupt, to cause earthquakes, to cause tsunamis. This energy is here to support the reset, because Mother Earth is coming with us. She's already ascended to the new earth. No stowaways on her plane. No more will you ride her loving whispers. No more. So there's only 2 paths, and you must decide which path. And so, give me 1 second. There's something very, very important. Okay, so the archetypal figures show up as one divine energy. Mother Eve guides me through this summary, and she wants to reiterate how cosmic reverberations work. See, I didn't even read that, but I'm right on it. So it's a cosmic reverberation happening. What we are receiving down here is a reverberation of what has already taken place in the spirit. I said many years ago, I saw the heavens getting cleansed. There's a war going on up there, guys. And we've been fighting this war since the last timeline divergence. So the reverberation goes through thought, travels through thought waves. This is why also too, you're amped up also in the fear, and you're amped up also in your gifts and abilities and your want to cleanse and move the earth forward, because we are all being led psychically, whether you believe in it or not. You are picking up on what, guys, we learned today in class, the subtle energies. And the subtle energies is saying that there is a shift, and there's only 2 ways to go. Either you get diverted to the false timeline, you're going to become the walking dead, because this is the year of the 9. Because next year we're going to start this show all over again, but we're going to start from a higher state of consciousness. We will be in our ascendant master energy come next year. We only got a few more months. What? How many? 8, 7 more months in this year. Guys, we did it. We are almost there. We're almost there. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long, because I'll be in this cosmic battle forever, but let me pull in just one more message here. Do not worry. Do not worry. This is all purposeful. The grid must be taken down. Give me a second. Someone's talking. Someone's talking. And they're 12th or 13th dimensional. Someone's higher. I'm hearing from someone's higher self, or actually, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing from an ancestor. I did a client session a few years ago, and one of the ancestors in the 12th dimension, that's the voice that I hear in my mind's eye, saying the grid must be taken down. The grid has served its purpose. It must be reformed, as we are reformed into a new creation of thought and love and of prosperity and of fruitfulness that will never die or spoil. This is the love of the masses. This is the trust of the times that will never divide. There is a hole. I see a hole in the grid, a mole. It's like a hole for a mole. Oh my God, I've been saying that there's a mole. There's a mole. You know what a mole is? A mole is someone pretending to be something that they're not. So what this ancestor, this 12th dimensional ancestor is saying is that there's a mole that has infiltrated the grid, and therefore the grid has to be taken down. And that's probably why I saw a few weeks ago when Source gave me a message about a new grid that we are receiving, which is the crystalline grid. So as I'm already talking about the crystalline grid, but we don't actually have a crystalline grid yet. Even though if you ask ChatGPT will say they have a crystalline grid, but no, we don't. In the new expanded timeline, this is what we're building. This is what we have. But in this current depiction of thought of what I am viewing, it is not crystalline. It is of sapphire. It is of blue, gems, and rubies. And this is why the blue has been heavily scrutinized and has been under attack, because the mole got into the grid. And that's what I'm seeing. So the mole, it did something, it skewed the blue essence, the sapphire. And this is why I've been picking up on the mole. There's a mole. There's a mole between us. There's a mole in the group. It's what I've been saying, but it's in the grid. So this ancestor is saying that the whole grid must come down. And this is why the blackouts are here. And don't think that the governments around don't know it, because at the same time, they want the grid to come down simply because there also is something else entering our biosphere. I do believe it's the 5-night stampede, because remember I said it's like one being, but many consciousnesses. So that would make sense of one being and 5 consciousnesses, which the 5-night stampede are 1 and 5, all at the same time. But they know that that's coming. So they play on these things because ultimately the 5-night stampede is coming for them, coming to destroy them for their wicked ways. So what they have to do is to create the timeline divergence, to get everyone to the false timeline where they are going to think that they're going to be safe here. I would not go into any shelters if they tell you, oh, it's blackout and everything, oh, it's too hot, and you're gonna, you don't have AC, we don't want you to overheat. Like, please do not go into any shelters. If this happens here in America or even in Europe, do not go into any shelters, because I am telling you, it is part of the divergence. It is a timeline divergence where you become food and you become looped up. This is what I'm saying. Someone said, will this happen soon? I hope not. I was doing some work on the grid before I got on here to stop it. So Source was saying of what we can do to support this, and I do believe it's going to work, is that we can go into the grid and we as light workers can turn our lights on. I've put my energy down there and I started to put some like lights so that if this happens, we have like a backup generator, but we need other people to put their energy there into the grid. That's what we need. We are the generator, guys. We are the Christ light. We can do all things. We are powerful. This is what we need. And I don't believe that it will be bad here in America. I really don't, as long as we do the work. But this is truly what's going on. Guys, one thing I want to let you know is with the work I do of clearing, energy and entities, once you bring awareness to something, it already starts to dissolve. The fact that I'm bringing awareness to their plan It dissolves it because these things thrive in secrecy when no one knows what's going on. The moment you what? Turn the light on, what happens? They all scatter. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's what's going on. So I want you to know how powerful you are. The awareness is your power. So we're already defeating it because we're bringing awareness to it. But there's a mole in our grid. This is why this is also happening and why the ancestors said it needs to happen because the mole has infiltrated and this place will never be good. This place will always be soiled with this mole. That's just the truth. We have no choice but to go into the new earth. We have no choice but to get the codes and rise and raise our collective kundalini energies. There is no more choice because we have been infiltrated from the grid. The grid, let me just put it to you like this. The bottom of your feet is your soul. Your soul is supposed to be on the charging pad, which is Mama Earth. That's the charging pad. Underneath Mama Earth, the charging pad. And we go into we're going into another realm. But that is the grid that I'm speaking of. It's the grid that supports the earth and worlds alike. There's a mole in the grid. So Mama Earth can't get nourished properly. Children of the Earth can't get nourished properly. All the other star systems truly are out of alignment. The whole grid has been infested by a mole. And the mole shows up as a blue essence, as a blue energy. So the only way for us to rectify this is to destroy it. It must be destroyed. But the thing about it is, as it's being destroyed, you have two choices. You get tricked to the timeline divergence, where you go and you become fuel and loosh for the archons to keep soul cycling you in this earth remix shuffle, or you step up to your essence, to your power, you turn your light on, and we go into the grid and we create a backup power source. And not only that, as we go into the grid and create a backup power source, what does it do? It turns the light on the mole and we can see it for what it is and dissolve it. You turn the light on, you bring awareness, it leaves. If you stay afraid of it, it's allowed to fester in the dark, in the primitive template where the fear is. It's all a code, guys. We are here to outsmart them. We are here to dismantle their code. And there's help here. There's a being in our biosphere. This is part of, I truly believe, the 5-night stampede. They're not here to destroy us. They're here to destroy the ones who created this false system. And in return, it will destroy Earth and destroy many things. But this is when you need to tap into your supernatural essence, your supernatural powers. If there was ever a time to believe in yourself, man, it would be now. It would be now. If there was ever a time to be a Power Ranger, it would be now. And once we all believe, become that collective thought wave of expression, the reverberation of our ancestors, of our galactic ancestors and galactic kings and queens, once we get on one thought wave, that is how we ride out of this grid. And guess what? At that point, we're on the magic carpet ride. We're hovering. And now that's a cue for all of the rest of the stuff to start getting destroyed, because in truth, the only reason why this grid is still being held up is because we're still here. Once we ascend, once this kundalini comes up, we get on the magic carpet ride because we are hovering in air, because it has pushed us to a new stratosphere. And this whole old world will dissolve. It will dissolve. It will dissolve. I think that's what I want to say tonight. Oh, thank you. I absolutely love the Cosmic Bible. Thank you for publishing this book. Thank you so much. No, thank you so much. And guys, please go to Amazon and leave a review that will help other people find the book. Thank you so much. I can't take credit for it. It was source. All I did was show up. I showed up many, many hours and did the work. But honestly, this was source, and I'm just happy to be the vessel that could bring this word to you guys. And there will be many more of us creating work like this and contributing to the Cosmic Bible. There will be more books, and there will be more authors and more people. And all you guys must do and have to do is to step into yourself, to put your cape on and understand that you are the hero that saves us. And I was crazy enough to believe that I could save humanity on my own. And if you're crazy enough to believe that, then source will show up and start to give you the messages. And that's truly all that it takes, honestly. Honestly, 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 guys. So these are some key codes that source wanted to share about this. So yes, do prepare. Please just go and get, some light, some candles, some water, some food, just in case, just in case. But to be honest with you, tonight when you go to bed, just get and just set your intentions that you're going into the grid to power it. We are going to be providing like extra energy, like a generator. So that way, if it does hit in our area, our energy stamp and signature will be in the grid itself, underneath the soil. Our code will override the code of the evil one. And this is where we are. Godspeed. Godspeed. Thank you guys for listening to this message of what Source needed to say in this moment. And I think I've said it. I'm going to leave this here. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, guys. Love is the way. Forgiveness is the key. And truth is the light that will always, always guide us home. Be well. Bye, guys. Bye, Carolyn. Bye, Gail. Bye, Stephanie. See you guys. Good night.